Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Tower of Time. Where we left off last time, we were going to get some treasures we missed, but I also found a console with some conversation stuff we didn't get. The console to the teleporter is automatically activated as your champions approach. A beam of green light sweeps across their bodies from head to toe, then back up again. The console then speaks. Rebellious magi have become the mirror image of their noble brothers. This transporter honors the memory of those fallen heroes. Let the sacrifice of their number never be forgotten, even when seen through the eyes of the distorted rebels. A small keypad appears on the control panel under the message. And there's still more treasures. I'll show you how to get there here. It's not a very difficult journey. In fact, it's pretty simple. Upon entering the small secluded chamber, your champions immediately notice the quiet, peaceful atmosphere. A potent sense of safety and security washes over them. The control panel activates itself as soon as your champions step from the teleporter. A list of names scrolls across the glass, the list of magi who gave themselves over in the great sacrifice. Yeah, that's sort of just okay. In terms of the scroll, and that is it. Now we can officially leave this level. We are 100% completed, so if we wander back this way, we will jump across this bridge, and it leads us just to this platform. So this is where we came in. We just had to take the other travel disc that was right there. It's not a very difficult, not even secret really, not even a difficult thing. It's not easy to miss, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So we're gonna head down to the last level of the game, I think. Descend to the lower level. There's a battle up ahead, apparently. I don't see anything here, though. There's literally nothing. Maybe it's underneath us. That could be. This level has 2 battles, apparently. It's also a massive level, and it's very impressive looking. Hey, I remember this from the trailer, actually, for the game. Look at that. That is beautiful. Huh. I'm super impressed. I might actually pause the video here for 2 seconds and just restart my computer. It seems to be going a little bit slow. And I'd hate to, it's like every time it saves, it causes a bit of a judder here. So I'll be right back. We'll fix that and we'll continue on our way down. See you guys in a couple seconds. Okay, we are back. I went and did the challenges that we had left to us. I also upgraded all of our characters to level 15 just in case we need them in the future. And we did some inventory management type stuff, not deleting everything because that just seemed like a giant pain. But our characters are all properly set up now for the end of the game, so it's gonna be pretty good, I think. Partially constructed golem locked in a glass tube. An experiment or a trophy? Good question. It looks like we have a fight coming up ahead here. Looks like some Morgante, actually. The shadow constructs struggle relentlessly to breach the swirling wall of energy before them. Each attack sending forth a fountain of purple sparks and shakes the chamber with a thunderous boom. Though your party is only a short distance away and under no cover, the constructs seem oblivious to their presence. So many. The element of surprise will eliminate the advantage of their numbers. As if responding to Cayman's comments, one of the constructs stops and turns to face him. A moment later, the area goes silent as all the constructs halt their attack and turn towards their champions. You were saying, Kay? These are called void energies. They actually don't have a whole lot of health or armor, for that matter. Not particularly concerned about this fight, especially after the last fight we just did. I did the last challenge just recently, and it is significant. I would recommend going there with a very maxed out group. Do not think you can half-ass that fight like I did initially. My first attempt, I was like, yeah, no problem, it's a couple enemies, no big deal. The last challenge in the game is actually really quite hard. This fight, on the other hand, is not particularly hard. There's lots of things to kill from multiple angles. Oh, I don't know why he said I'll not move. Go fight. Do things. Oh, our Titan went down. That was kind of unexpected, but... eh. 100% completed. Oh, a fancy new shield. It's actually sort of okay. It's fine, we don't need it. Let's continue down towards the bottom. There's a huge amount of constructs standing before the giant barrier itself. Being as there's only 2 fights in this whole dungeon, I'm guessing that's going to be the second one. A figure resembling the Avatar. It is swaying slowly, but does not respond to any actions. This map is beautiful, by the way. I really, really like it. I'm really impressed. A most disturbing sight. A body made of metal looking so alike to you. Wait a minute, are we a robot? We're like the Avatar. Oh my god, I'm gonna call it right now. We are like the Avatar. We were sent out into the world to grow and absorb experiences, and then come back and take over control of the tower. We won't be mortal. Like Proteus. You will not be able to return to the city after this point. Let's make a hard save here. We'll call this the end. Oh, you can't put question marks. That makes sense, actually. There's a lot of coding things that get in trouble with question marks. Anyways, moving into possibly the final battle. That autosave causes my game to lag a little. The constructs aren't attacking us. I thought for sure they would. You watch as your champions turn to face you with a look of great surprise on their faces. It is strange to no longer feel their thoughts and senses. Kane is quick to cover his heart with his hand and bow his head. My lord, it's good to see you. The bottom of the tower awaits. But how did you... all the way down here? The crystal throne has more power than you can imagine, my friend. We sound very sure of ourselves now. The energy of the barrier sends swirling patterns of light swimming across your champions as they stand before it. Boron cautiously places his massive hands against the translucent wall. When the field does no harm, he shoves with all his strength. The Frostling's effort has no effect other than to cause the swirling patterns to condense around his hands. We have no means to penetrate this. I don't understand. I thought we already disabled the barrier to reach Proteus. Nay, sister. The barriers you breached to disable the tower Avatar were not of my doing. This one, however, is. The barrier before your champions flickers for a moment, then vanishes. Now that the last of you has arrived, come, join me. The throne room is near. A tear in the fabric of space and time, a portal that leads not to another world or dimension, but to an endless void of cold, dark nothingness. The party trembles with the jarring realization that the hovering black abyss is indeed the realm of the Argante. Though it seems impossible to peer through the ebony veil, a longer glance into the black reveals dark shapes twisting and contorting. Countless bodies and distorted faces rolling and merging into one another, separating back into many, an entire race of beings existing without end or without beginning. Motions that speak of agony or ecstasy, you watch captivated, unable to turn away, as if every lingering second beckoned to second truth, the means to your enemy's defeat. Moments later, the searing pain behind your eyes, overwhelming, nausea in your stomach, and irrepressible feelings of hatred snap you back to your senses. You haven't been the only ones watching. The Argante focus their ravenous appetites on you and your companions, the weight of their desire nearly bringing you to their knees. To your knees. Rise up. Stand strong. Look not to the darkness, my friends. For you few, you mighty 8, are the last light of Artara, and before this day ends, the Argante will fear its brilliance. The voice is a familiar one. Resolved to end this quest, you and your champions turn away from the darkness and move towards the voice. Proteus. At long last, our long journey is at the end. Come, friends. Wait, your grace, it might not be safe. Anxious to catch up with the ancient engineer, your party rushes forward, boldly pouring into the room. You nearly trample the young woman who has stopped frozen, staring forward intently. Your entire party stands within a grand oval chamber, staring at the sight before you in complete awe and terror. What can only be described as an explosion of darkness frozen in time lies hovering in midair above the center of the chamber. A geyser of black ink caught in a chaotic web of blazing bright energy. The longer you stare at the more some sort of bulbous ebony creatures trying to claw its way out of the ink comes into focus. In a short distance, a weathered man garbed in the flowing robes of a magi stands before a massive crystal throne, a far grander version than the one you yourself sat in just moments ago. Face full of concentration and contempt as he holds his left arm outstretched above his head. There is a thin, almost invisible line connecting his body to a web of energy surrounding the explosion of darkness. Have you ever witnessed anything like it? Nay, friend Frohe. I don't even understand what I'm looking at. An explosion cannot just sit there. Be glad that it does, Ruin Lord. I suspect little of this chamber would survive if it did not. Eric steps closer towards the darkness, his face drawn in fear. We may yet find out if your claim is accurate, Whisper. Whatever it is before us is not frozen in time, merely slowed. My elvish sight allows me to see the darkness creeping forward and the currents of energy pulsing around it. Brother, what has happened here? Do not lament, sister. Though my strength wanes, the Organte portal before you poses no harm to me, nor shall I allow it to harm you or your friends. Kayla steps towards her brother, but his face does not move in the slightest. The voice, his voice, comes from behind. Turning to alleviate her confusion, the ancient engineer stands before you, staring into your eyes in complete shock. You see the glow of your own eyes reflecting in hers. You hear the voice in your head before you speak the words. Any struggle is useless. You are powerless to resist them. As much as I wish to say I could embrace you with my own arms, my body is bound to the same temporal magic that holds the invaders at bay. To release myself is to release the Organte into our world. You raise your hand, caressing the top of Kayla's ear, a familiar gesture, as I've done 1,000 times before. My dear, dear sister, you were never meant to be here. The suspension pond was to protect you for a dozen generations. I have failed you. Why? Why did you keep me there when I'm perfectly fine? It was for your own good. It was never supposed to end like this. End like what? What's going on, Proteus? Talk to me. Behind the ancient engineer, Braun, Whisper, and Rackham take note of a large crystal formation lurking in the shadows of the chamber, encased within each fully clothed human body, all posed in positions of defiance and self-defense. You step past your sister towards the three. They are the ones that have come before, your lord. I now possessed. All held much promise, but none sufficed. So you killed them? Murder is too strong a word. They were a sacrifice for the greater good. You look to each of your champions, watching on, their faces distorted in distrust and disgust, all save Whisper, who drifts slowly beneath the explosion, frozen in time above, towards Proteus and his crystal throne. By my own eyes I bear witness, as much as it grieves me to admit it, the prophecy of the Six is true. What's that you speak of, your excellency? In the end of days, in the dying light, Six will stand against godlike might. All will fall, yet none will fail. On their hallowed names, our Taro will prevail. Whisper's form dissolves into a burst of black vapors. In the blink of an eye, a shadowy mass appears before Proteus' throat. As the mystic's body returns to the flesh, an ebony dagger appears in her hand. She plunges the blade towards Proteus' throat. Deceiver, destroyer, the queen of shadows denies you your triumph. Just before the blade pierces Proteus' chest, a handful of metal grabs Whisper's wrists. Have you lost your mind? He's my brother. Proteus' eyes shift towards the sister and the mystic. His lips barely move. So begins the end. With a tower shaking thunderclap, time returns to normal, allowing the dark portal hovering above to complete its explosion. The eruption throws everyone in the chamber to the floor, sliding them hard into the far walls. Weakened and struggling for balance, Proteus rises to his feet first, his body sparkling with fragments of bright blue energy. Stunned, you and your champions each rise in turn, finding your own selves similarly enveloped with crackling blue energy. A deafening roar and tremendous gusts fill the chamber as a geyser of pitch-black liquid-like substance gushes forward from above the chamber floor. The dark matter disappears into the far wall, as if the wall itself is nothing but an illusion. As the dark eruption flows, purple bursts of energy appear, announcing the arrival of the Organte. You and your champions slowly retreat and regroup. You watch as black, embryonic masses spill through the portal. Oh my. The shadow forms quickly take the hold of the disgusting organic heaps, then disappear in a flash of purple light. The process repeats, Organte clearly aware of your presence, but simply uninterested. You waste no time checking on Kane, Maeve, and the others. While much of the chamber has been destroyed by the explosion, amazingly you and your champions, as Proteus promised, are unharmed. What can we do, my lord? We gotta try and stop it. You cannot stop the inevitable. Oh man, this is intense. I'm really super excited to see how this plays out. Proteus struggles to stand, stepping towards the gushing flow of black, seemingly mesmerized by the horrific sight. While the Magus stands distracted, a large purple glow flashes out, leaving in its wake a behemoth shadow construct, something much larger and completely unlike anything your champions have faced. The shadow immediately turns from the portal and approaches your party, its eyes trailing long wisps of crimson energy. The creature opens his mouth, letting loose a growl-like moan. Proteus stumbles before the construct and raises his hand to halt its approach. Though the Magus can barely hold his hand outstretched, his voice is powerful and clear. Back, these seven are with me. The shadow construct pauses, looks for a moment at Proteus, then begins to turn back. Without warning, the abomination of darkness whips around and shoves Proteus down, hurling him across the floor. Coming to a rest a few feet away from you, the Magus looks to you and tries to rise, his body still weakened from his time on the crystal throne. He calls to you in your mind, asking for aid. Without second thoughts, you rush to his side and help him to his feet. As you do so, you look back to see the behemoth construct converging on your champions. Is this the final battle of the game? Maybe. It has 100,000 health, no armor. It's a good thing we didn't keep those void weapons around too long, because that would really suck. It has 100% void resistance. An essence of the Organtes being, formed of hatred and hunger. Its only purpose is to devour all life forms. Only 100,000 health though, so maybe that won't be so bad. My champions are really strong, by the way. I pretty much min-maxed them to death. I needed them to be as powerful as possible. Champions of Artara, I may be physically too weak to fight this abomination myself, but I am far from powerless to aid you. Take from me a fraction of what I possess, and send this construct back to the darkness from whence it came. Did we get a buff for that or something? I guess so. I'm not particularly concerned about one construct, though. Basically just launch these for almost ever. I'm gonna back these people up just a few feet. Just out of range. Whatever's coming up, that is not out of range. But am I concerned? Not really. Oh, it's just a shadow storm. Who cares? Done. We're all invincible. Doesn't matter. I could fight these things all day. Maybe not all day, but for a while at least. Why are we getting loot on the last fight of the game? Maybe not the last fight though. You've defeated the Shadow. Alas, it was only a tiny fragment of the Organtes essence. Rest now and talk to me again when you're ready to finish your journey. I guess we just go for it? We can't go back to town, so... You don't understand. Proteus has let the Organte into your world, yet he saved you and your allies from the explosion of the portal and the monster Shadow. What have you done? Whisper flies into a rage, lunging towards Proteus with her hand ablaze with magical energy. Kayla, Boron, and Maeve fall upon the mystic, restraining her with all their effort. We must destroy him while we still can. The prophecy is true. I don't know what's come over you, Whisper, but now is not the time to lose our heads. Kane, Rackham? As Kane and Rackham approach, Whisper stops resisting and says mumbles to herself. The prophecy, you don't understand. We're doomed. All of Artara is doomed. With a sudden flurry of resistance, Whisper explodes, more intent than ever to end Proteus. It takes the combined effort of all your champions to control her. Let me go, fools. Proteus must die. Don't be too harsh with your companion. If not for her help, you would not have reached me. Her effort till now has been exemplary. You've all done exemplary, as well as I could have hoped for. Proteus shakes his head. His face, along with disappointment, loses much of his color. You do not know the pains to which I suffer, that you must all now die, that I must take your lives. Your champions go limp in disbelief, loosening their hold on Whisper. Still trying to comprehend the first Magus's words, you watch as the mystic shakes herself free. Your disbelief has squandered our greatest chance. Now unhand the Queen of Shadows. What are you saying, brother? Tell me you don't mean it. I truly wish it were not true, but their lives I must take. No, I won't allow it. My dear sister, do not despair. You have been the single greatest light in my life. I never intended to rob the future of your spirit. That's why I had you placed in the suspension pod. You will be spared of what is to come. You will go back into the suspension. Back into that frozen box for another 1,000 years. I'd rather die. But the great spirits, what happened to you, Proteus? Time has happened. So much time. If you saw the world as I see it, you would know that it is truly the only way. Perhaps my brother truly was lost 1,000 years ago. I won't let you do it, Proteus. I won't let any of you do it, or I won't let you do any of it. Kayla lunges towards her brother, her robotic hand coiled in a fist, prepared to strike a devastating blow. Proteus turns to face you, his face relaxed, his eyes unconcerned. With a wave of the back of his hand, Kayla freezes, motionless, her eyes open, wide as her body turns into a pallor blue. Small crystals of ice frost over her skin, and as the sparkle in her eyes is extinguished. Your entire party moves swiftly to Kayla's defense. With weapons drawn and magic charged, they rush against Proteus. If it's a fight you want, Magus, it's a fight you'll get. And you'll find in your weakened physical state we are more than capable to overcome you. Proteus steps back, his face scrunched in anger. His eyes glow bright blue and his body writhes with magical energy. Yet as Bourne points out, his frame is indeed weakened. The effort causes Proteus to tumble to his knees. With his head lowered to the ground, almost out of breath, the Magus speaks softly. You dare attack me, Proteus? Proteus looks up to your champions, his face grows strong and loud. I am the first and last Magus of Artara. It is not for mortal beings such as you to decide my fate. If you choose to offer your lives through combat, so be it. This must be the final fight. As Kane's sword comes crashing down against Proteus' lowered head, you lunge forward and block the attack with your own blade. You again feel another presence in your body. No matter how hard you try, you cannot resist Proteus' will. My lord, why do you defend him? He seeks to kill us. And so he shall. I would have given you an honorable, clean, peaceful death. Instead, you choose to die in violence. Get back, Kay. That's not my lord. It's Proteus. The Frostling is right, of course. In my weakened physical condition, you few would have been more than a match for me. But in this body, with all my power at its command, you have no chance of defeating me. What do we do now? The only way to stop Proteus is to harm my lord. You watch yourself swing your blade at your old friend. Your heart crumbles at the thought of killing Kane and the others you care about. Then in the back of your mind, you sense the feeling of despair is not only your own. Somehow a piece of Kane and the others remains connected to you, even without the crystal throne beneath you. You summon every ounce of will that remains of your own and speak to your champion's minds one last time. Do not hesitate. Kill me. Me and Proteus are the people in the fight. I kinda wish that I had given my other characters better gear, but we'll be fine. Can we start the combat like right in melee with them? I mean, that's kind of sweet. We're not gonna have our... I really don't even know how to use Rackham and Boron. I never used them once this entire game, other than when I first got them. So, we're really gonna rely on our other characters more. Okay, I don't know what that does. We need that. We need that. We need that. We need that and that and that. And sure, do that. No, that does. We're gonna do it anyways. And that. How does she die instantly? Well, luckily we have ways to get her back up. Can't afford to lose her just yet. Focus fire him first. Sure, do that. And you can do that. And you can heal, I guess? She is doing some severe thorns damage to herself. That's what it is. We can just kill one of them. The other one should fall pretty easily. We're gonna have to wait to refresh our... Oh crap, we're getting hit pretty hard. We need one of these. Do that too. Come on, kill that guy. Your deeply wounded body collapses to the floor, and protective magic around Proteus dissipates. All the champions turn to him now, their faces twisted with anger at what they had just done. How long until that oh, long time for revive. I really miss our archer, like a lot. That Thorn's damage, though, is insane. He's about half dead. Can we... How long until we can, As soon as we get out of stun, we can do our... invincibility to whatever he's doing. Let's get that back to normal. We're doing pretty good, I think. Proteus is getting down there in life. Do that. Oh, he got frozen. Unfreeze him. "16 seconds till we can get our archer back, but I think the fight may be over by that time." There are a couple... I don't know what those are. Spectral swords? Then again, we might get her back up after all. Yay, she can actually do something. I think that's gonna be the end of the fight right there. She would have done a lot more damage if she hadn't been dead the whole time. Yeah, I have no idea how to use Boron or wreck him, but they did okay, I guess, all things considered. Your champions gather around your collapsed body. Their tired, beaten faces have a look of genuine despair. Maeve places her loaded crossbow at your head. "Close your eyes, my lord, you won't feel a thing." Rakim rushes over to the Magus' limp body on the floor. "We'll kill the Magus, that'll break his control." Boron sweeps Proteus off the floor with one hand. "A fine idea. This is no spell to be broken, my friend. Proteus has taken over my lord's body. There is but one way to end his murderous trap." Kane nods to Maeve. Sweat breaks across her brow. After a moment of hesitation, she lowers her crossbow. It's okay, Maeve. The duty should be mine." As Kane takes a stance before you and pulls his blade high, Proteus wills you to speak. In your weakened condition, he no longer has dominion to control you, yet, feeling a sense of genuine urgency, you recite the words. At the same time, Proteus's body speaks them as well. "Wait, hold your blade. You do not understand." "Do not hesitate, shield guard. Take him now before he escapes." Kane holds his blade steady. "Artara is already doomed. Our world is lost, not by my doing. This became fact the moment the Argante portal opened. I merely used all my powers to prolong the inevitable, to bide time. Time for what? To plan and plot, to set things in motion, to save what could be saved, but most of all to wait for him, for all of you. There is no stopping the Argante. Our only chance is to save what we can. A task I no longer have the power to achieve on my own. But as my Magus brothers and sisters did 1,000 years ago, you few can grant me such power through your sacrifice." "The power for what?" "To transport as many of our people as possible to the tower, then transport it far away to another world. where Artara may be reborn. The only way I can do this, the only way to save our people, is with your life energy. There is no other option. There is no more time. I speak the truth. If you leave here today with your lives, all is undone. As the words weigh heavily on your champions, Proteus evacuates your body, leaving you in crippling pain. Boron releases the first Magus, dropping him to the floor where he spits up dark crimson blood. I tried to tell you, I take no pleasure in taking your lives. If I could give my own in your place, I would, without hesitation. But the only way to save our people is through your sacrifice. So, brave champions, I leave it to you. Strike me down for all I have done, doom everyone you know and love, and end our civilization, all civilizations, as the Argante will come and devour them all eventually. Or give yourselves now and grant your people a second chance. The choice is yours. Before you decide, I give you one final vision, that which shall come to pass for our world and countless others, should you strike me down. I have spent 1,000 years in the presence of the Argante, listening to their maddening whispers, feeling their insatiable hunger, seeing their collective memories. I know them for the soulless, malevolent beings they truly are, an unstoppable virus whose only purpose is to consume and reproduce. After they have devoured Artara, the Argante will spread across the galaxy, targeting every inhabited world. There will be no threats, no parley, no chance to defy and combat them. They will simply burn 1 billion planets to ash, absorbing all the life energy within. The Argante will leave no path of destruction behind. Once the universe is emptied of life, they will consume all stellar matter. Ice giants, suns, nebulas, black holes, asteroids, cosmic dust, nothing will be spared. The universe will be stripped bare. In the Argante's wake, nothing will remain, not even a single photon of light. All will be dark. Kill me now, and this is the future you set in stone. Proteus' truth strikes hard into the brittle hearts of you and your champions. Everyone draws silent and still. Only the swirling wind and gushing sound of Argante Dimensional Rift remains, until at last a whisper steps forward. The prophecy, could I have misunderstood this whole time? All will fall, yet none will fail. On their hallowed names, Artara will prevail. My people are a proud and ancient race. I sense the truth of your words now. The Queen of Shadows will not live, only to see your people erased from the Book of Time. Let it be known that the Queen of Shadows was the first, that her courage and light showed the way. Whisper walks before Proteus, looking at each of your champions and yourself as she passes. Black vapor pours from her body, crimson energy burns at her hands along her forearms. You require the energy that is me? Then take it, all that I am and more. Proteus extends his hand, and with a slight rush of air, Whisper dissolves into 1,000 pieces of sparkling light. Proteus' stance straightens once the mystic is no more. Looks like I was wrong, lad. I'll not be sending you back to your forests after all. It is a promise I absolve you from, my friend, and one I sincerely appreciate. We elves don't believe in death as others do. I make this sacrifice without hesitation, but you, Master Smith. Of course, lad. After all, it's a king's duty to lay down his life for his people. King? The sentiment of surprise is shared by everyone but Boron. Did they not know? But Jarl Dwarf wears the crest of Master Smith of the First Order, and only a dwarven king lays claim to such a title. Eric bows with a heartfelt grin. My lord? Eric steps before Proteus and speaks in his native tongue. Tell me one thing before I go see my ancestors, First Magus. Does another life's oak seed grow somewhere in the world? Proteus replies in Elvish. You have spent much of your time seeking such a seed. Are you sure the truth would not unsettle you, especially now before you depart this world? Tell me, despite the Argante, I must know if my people's fate is sealed. Then rejoice, noble elf. For though they are hidden by centuries and only grow when touched by Mother Nature's bosom, many such seeds still exist in Artara. The elf closes his eyes and drops his head in a gesture of great relief. Then there is still hope for my people. I am ready now. Wait a second. I said as long as I draw breath, I'll see you back to your forests. We'll go together, or not at all. Rekam moves each of your champions and lays into them with a mighty bear hug, winking to Maeve, just so I remember what it's like to be in the arms of a beautiful lass. Rekam shakes your hand and nods without word, then steps back alongside Eric. Though I don't share our king's emotional affection, know that I have grown quite fond of all of you, and wish you all safe travels to wherever the next adventure lies. It's a sad ending. Damn. The chamber fills with light. When the illumination dissipates, all that remains of Rekam is a mound of ash and dirt. Of the elf, a dozen silver butterflies flutter about before slowly fading away. You can swear Proteus' hair darkens in color. His face no longer expresses the pains of a 1,000-year-old body. Boron steps alongside Maeve and Kane. I need time to prepare. Maeve and Kane stare into each other's eyes. Though nothing is spoken, much is said. After all this, even with the fate of everyone and everything hanging in the balance, I find myself feeling selfish. I don't want to go. Kane's eyes fill with sudden panic. Maeve, The marksman places a single finger over Kane's lips. All this time together, and now you decide to confess your feelings? A coy smile breaks across her face. If only there were more time. But there isn't. This isn't easy for me to say, Kay, but with you by my side, I think I can... Our people are counting on us. The world is counting on us. We must fulfill our duty. Tell us, Proteus, is there anything after death? Will we be together in another life? Proteus smiles and nods to Kane and Maeve. Do not fear. Death is not what you think it is, and time is like the river that leads to the sea, with tides that flow both ways. Kane turns to you, but you recoil. The thought that you have led your dearest friend to his death turns your stomach. My lord, can the two of you ever forgive me? What is there to forgive? Your loyalty has led you to your deaths. It is our honor to die so that our people may live. Farewell, friend. You struggle to hold back the tears and raise up your hand. Kane takes it firmly and nods. Maeve places hers over the two of yours and nods. Unlike you and Kane, she cannot hold back the tears, though she ignores them. Kane and Maeve sit back before Proteus. They look to him and then turn back to each other, embrace and kiss. With another wave of his hands, the color of Maeve and Kane drains from their forms. Within seconds, they stand before you, frozen in an eternal kiss of stone. That's not really what's shown there, but the sentiment is very touching. You take a deep breath and look up as Boron steps before you, his gaze down at you beneath hard, stoic eyes. It is because of you our people will get a second chance. It is because of you this is not the end. I cannot express my gratitude. The frostling lumbers over to the statue of Maeve and Kane, kneels before them, placing one hand atop each of them. He drops his head and chants in a deep, reverberating tone. My people will not forget what happened here in this tower, not as long as this memory stone exists. After a few moments, the frostling rises to his feet and turns to face Proteus. Without word, Proteus nods. A massive gust of frost and ice blasts through the chamber, forcing you to shield your eyes. So we meet again. When you look again, Boron is no more. You and Kayla, suspended in time by unknown means, are all that remains of you and your 7 champions. Proteus, now looking 20 years younger, healthier, and stronger, turns to you, peering deep into your eyes, as if examining your very soul. Perhaps somehow, since that day we first met when I was a boy, I've known this day would come. I'm ready, for Artara. Send me where my friends have gone. Proteus turns and looks up at the Organte portal, now twice the size that it was when you first entered the chamber. You hear the First Magus' thoughts in your mind. You led a band of champions from different walks of life with conflicting goals through this perilous tower. You were a strong and capable leader. You stand before me now, ready to give your life. You are a brave and honorable man. Your will and life energy are truly great, but you must live. What? No, you took their lives. You can't let me live. You can't let me alone live. Will they have made the ultimate sacrifice? No. Yes, I must. Now is the time you know the complete truth. Well, what is it? Oh. Ending video.
So here we are. 2 minds in 1 body. You witnessed what I have done. I opened the portal and let the Organte through. The ultimate betrayal. Shadow constructs are ravaging the land, destroying everything and everyone in the path. They leave me alone, for they believe I am the ally of their masters. Yet, you must understand the reasons for my actions. For I did not lie those many years ago when you were a child and our minds touched for the first time. The world can be saved, and only you can do it. The entire world, our galaxy. If we let the Organte set foot on this land, they will soon ravage all the other planets in our galaxy too. The Organte passed through the bridge into our world, but they are weak. They come from a place with different laws of physics. They are disoriented, stunned, They have to assume physical bodies and need time to adjust to our energy. A lot of time. And if something has a physical shape, it can be destroyed. My actions were for that reason. My life force was the only thing blocking the bridge. And I am dying. If I were to die and they were to enter the world, they would be unopposed. They would bide their time recovering. And when they were ready, they would destroy everything. For such is their nature now, hateful and evil. I spent a long time in the presence of those beings. I understand them now in more ways than they understand themselves. They might have been a grand and noble civilization, but now only a husk remains, their nature overpowered by the need to consume and destroy. I also understood one thing that they do not know yet. In our universe, they will not be able to transcend again. They will remain as they are now, in physical form. They will need to send their constructs to nearby stars, to absorb their energy, filter it, and feed on it slowly. Don't be fooled, however. They will awaken eventually and start rebuilding their civilization. So I am releasing your mind now. Take this body and all the knowledge I possess and escape this world, for it is already doomed. I have gathered the remaining survivors in the tower, and I will shift it across vast space to another planet, where you can settle in peace. I will transfer my consciousness to this shadow and remain here. I will walk among the Organte unnoticed, observing them and confusing them if I can, for as long as I can. You have a different task. You must rebuild the civilization and grow in strength. You must pass the knowledge of what has happened to your descendants, and they must stand vigil. When the time comes, you must be ready to return to this world and destroy the enemy once and for all. For only then can I be redeemed. Stand vigil. Watch the sky with an ever-open eye. When stars dim and start to die, come swiftly, or the end follows nigh.
Well, that was a pretty fantastic game, I have to say. That is probably one of the best games I've actually ever played. I'm actually kind of... I feel like sense of loss finishing it. I haven't felt that in a long time. I don't know what to do with my time now. Huh. Anyways, amazing game. The graphics were really good. The landscapes were incredible. Storyline was really good. I really have... yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it. It was a really good game. Really impressed. Like I always ask at the end of a series, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll get started on a new series starting tomorrow, I guess. I'm gonna take the night off and ponder life a little bit. Hope you guys enjoyed the series, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.